Hello everybody and welcome to my studio. My name is Lonna and I am an acrylic artist. Thanks for stopping by to paint today. We're going to be painting a pop art today, which is one of my absolute favorite things to paint. Let's take a look at it. I've titled her Daydreaming, and you can paint on any surface that you want. I have just painted it on a piece of mat board. You'll want a 10 by 10 or an 8 by 10 size would work for this design really well. So I think you're going to enjoy painting it. Pop art for me is a freeing kind of style of painting because you can play outside the rules of traditional painting. We're going to be using Deco Art Americana acrylic paints on this one, so let's grab our supplies and let's get painting. Okay, so we're going to start this painting here, and I've just got a, I think it's like a 8 by 8 piece of mat board, and I've painted it just a light blue. I mixed a turquoisey color with some white and just put it on with a sponge, and so my background is done. Be sure and apply multi-purpose sealer before you paint. It helps the paint adhere to whatever you're painting on and gives you much smoother coats. And this is literally just a scrap piece of mat board. So I drew this line drawing out the other day, and so I think this is what I'm going to paint on to this, just down to her shoulders here. And I'm going to create a bokeh effect in the background. I want a really fun, funky background for this pop art piece. So I have all of these stencils. They're circle stencils, and they are available on my website, all different sizes here. And so I'm going to use some of them to create some of my effect in the background. So you can choose to do this or not. It's totally up to you. So I think I'm going to do some pinks in my background. I want to put pink highlights in her hair. So I think I want to do some pink stuff in the background. So I'm going to grab some of my colors here. I might grab my base color I used if I can remember what it was that I used. But so this is Royal Fuchsia. We'll be using this color for the highlights in her hair. I think I'm going to tone all of these down just a little bit. Okay, so I think my background color was this color with some white mixed into it. Not 100% sure, so I'm going to go ahead and put it out. And I got some white out. I think I'll put some more white out. This will help tone a few down. And I am using the Americana paints here, Deco Art Americana. And then I've got a couple more little pink colors here, so we can have a varied pink look, some raspberry and some cranberry wine. And we could even put the color that we're going to be using for our flesh, because it's kind of a pinky color. It's warm beige. And just get a good variety out there, because bokeh effect, a lot of times it is like these bright colors, but you can also make them muted colors and just everything. So let's grab a circle stencil and start with a circle. Oh, let's see. Let's start with this bright pink that we're going to use for the hair. And I'm really going to work that out. If I add a little bit of this blue, it might make it too purple. I don't really want it purple, but I want it toned down just a little bit, so that kind of took it down just a scooch. So So let's add, and you don't have to do this part if you don't want to do it, but I love the bokeh effect. I think it is just absolutely so much fun. I'm going to go right up to her hairline. I got into the hair, but no worries. I plan on painting her hair black, so I'm not too worried about that. We can go off the edge of the canvas here and just create some really fun. I'm going to try to stay off of her skin there just a little bit. So let me add one more up here. Okay, so that's starting out fun. I want to go to a different size of stencil now. I'll probably bounce around between these two sizes because I really like these sizes. So I'm going to take my flesh color and that razzleberry. This might be pretty close to this other color, so let me see. Yep, too close. So let me go into some cranberry wine here. A little bit darker of a color. Yeah, that's quite a bit darker, so we'll go with that. And we'll just tap around and put some of these other circles on here. And if you're going to do this, do as many or as few circles as you want in whatever colors that you think would be really fun to put on here. I am going to do some of those blue ones, I think. So right now I'm just kind of sticking with this pink tone in the background, loving it. That is looking so cute. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush off as best I can and go into some of that blue and mix it with some warm white. Get a blue tone to put in the background. Let's go with this bigger one. We'll be painting her hair out black, so don't worry if you get it in there. Super fun! This is definitely a look that, you know, either you like it or you don't, so I think it's super fun, especially when you're doing pop art, because pop art is all about bright things and color, and I just think it's super, super, super fun. Alright, let's add some blue. Here. Some smaller blue ones, I guess I should say. A couple more, and then we're going to go to another color. I'm going to go into that warm white and try and work a lot of that blue out of my, and maybe add some of the warm white and the flesh tone color, or the warm beige, kind of a neutral color. So let's see what this gives us. Oh yeah, I like that. A little bit more of that flesh color in there. Back to my bigger one. Add some in here with this color. And at the end, if I feel like I want even more bokeh effect in the background, I am going to come in and add that in afterwards. think I want to put a light pink one in there. I do one out here. Alright, let me take my light pink, and let's see, I mixed a little bit of purple with it. And I want to put one up here. It's more a purpley pink, I like that. Okay, maybe a little one over here on this one. A little bit more paint because that paint underneath it isn't dry, so it's okay. And I know right now it looks kind of strange because, you know, we don't have anything else painted in, but it will get there. It will definitely get there. Okay. That flesh color I'm using, it's got mixing a little bit with that pink, so it's giving us an even prettier color. So I'm going to go back over some of these that I did with that other color. Kind of give them a little bit more, just a touch more pink tint. Super fun. Okay, just do as much or as little as you want here. I do want to get a little bit more of that lighter flesh color. I have it up there, and so I do want to carry it down here just a little bit. And one over here, I think. Okay, and you can just keep going, and I think I'm going to leave it there for now. At the end, when I'm done with her, I may come back in and add even more, maybe put some of these that are just straight white into the background. I think that would be a lot of fun. So keep, you know, if you've got a small one like this, keep it handy because we may do that at the end. So we're done with the stencil brush for now. You can clean it, and we're going to get ready to start adding some base coats in here. Alright, let's get some base coats in. Now, because we have a blue background, her skin will take on a little bit of a blue tint until we get enough paint on top of it. So I'm taking my warm beige and adding some white to it. And this will be our first layer of paint in here. Go right up to her hair. When I paint her hair in, we'll take care of making that a little neater. Don't forget her ears. And you can make your flesh tone really any color that you desire. And I may make it, I added the white because, well, I wanted the skin a little bit lighter, but also so that our next coats, whatever shade I determine it to be, will not require as much paint. So the hair I'm going to make black. But again, you can make your hair any color that you want. You can make it any style that you want. Go around the ear here. Probably would be good if I got a smaller brush here. Don't want her to have a pointy ear. And then, so you're just going to paint all of the hair in with this color. So I'm going to go off camera and finish all of this, because this could take a little bit of time to do all of that. Her dress I'm going to paint in with warm white for now. I might change that down the road, but I think warm white will be a good place for me to start. So I'm going to get everything base coated in. I'm going to apply a second coat on my skin tone. I'm not going to add near as much white as I have right now. I'm going to keep it more towards the true color that's in the bottle. So I'm going to finish this out and get my second coats on, and then we'll come back. Okay, I've got 2 coats of each color on the skin, the hair, and the dress straps. Make sure you're completely dry. If it feels cool to the touch still, it is not dry, so just give it another minute or 2 to dry. Oh, that's not the one I used. I'm going to put my pattern back on here, and I should have traced it onto tracing paper, and I did not, so I'm going to have to guesstimate, because I enlarged my original line drawing to fit here. And I really just need to make sure I'm good for the face features. So I want to make sure that my lines are pretty lined up here. But you should have yours on tracing paper. That would help it so much. So I'm going to be using some gray graphite paper here. And I want to put her facial features on. And I don't want them to be too super dark. So after you draw them on here, if they're really dark, then erase them back just a little bit. We just kind of need to know where her eyelashes go here. You can see I don't have her mouth shaped the same, so I will be fixing that as I paint it. Let's see if I did it dark enough. I think it's dark enough for me to see. And I can tell where her chin is and her ears. Okay, I'm going to switch to my white. I want to put her earrings in. I don't know if I'm going to stay with this type of earring. I may just wait on her earrings. I do want to have this hair right here, so I know what's flowing where. Just those few lines in there where her part is. Oh, I didn't have my graphite paper up there where I needed it to be. So just a few lines where I know how the hair is going to be kind of going. Alright, let's take this off. Okay, she's looking pretty good. I love the background. I know I already want to add some white ones in there. A whole bunch of white ones I think is going to be really nice, or warm white, one of those two colors. And I think it's going to look really good with that. So I want to paint her eyebrows in real quick while I have the black on my palette. So I've just thinned my paint down just a little bit. And we'll just stroke. The rest of her eyebrow is kind of behind her hair. It might peek out over here just a little bit, so you could have it peeking out over there. You can just paint it in a solid black is fine. I'm just kind of sketching it in with this paintbrush. I've got some paint right there. Damp brush. That one wasn't damp, so it wasn't cutting it. So this is just kind of roughing in her eyebrows here, and we can go ahead and lay in a line for her eyes, her eyelashes. Get that in there. They don't quite look even to me. I mean, this was a fast sketch that I did, so they may not be even. Okay, that looks better. All right, let's paint her lips in. I'm going to take the razzleberry, is that what I got? No, berry cobbler. That's what I have here. And I'm going to mix a little bit of our flesh color here with it. So just mix the two together, and then we're just going to paint in her lips. I need a tiny bit of water in my brush here. Her lips aren't looking even or straight. Probably didn't have my pattern on straight when I put it on, so I'm going to try and adjust as I paint here and erase the lines that I don't need. I do want her lip to come down a little bit more. In the center down here. I want it to be a very full bottom lip. And still it doesn't look straight or even. I'm going to pull this top lip down just a little bit. That looks closer. Still doesn't look 100% even, but we're going to go with it. I feel like this side of the lip needs to come down a little bit more, so maybe we won't go with it. I'm going to keep painting it until she's got like the biggest lips ever. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Oh my goodness gracious sakes alive. Crazy. Okay, so we don't have a ton of stuff to do on her face. Just her lips and her eyelashes and eyebrows. So we're going to start shading on her to define all of her body parts. So I'm going to take our flesh color And let's see if I can get my palette in the shot here. Probably not. I've got my flesh color here, and I'm going to add, I think I'm actually going to add the color we put on her lips. So it's going to be mostly flesh color with a little bit of this pink. This is going to be our shading color. We don't want to get it wild and crazy carried away. So I'm going to go underneath her chin here, if I can see her chin line. And it's going to be a little bit darker out on the outer edges where the neck is. Zoom in a little bit. We're definitely going to make it darker. You know me, if you've painted with me much, we start with lighter values and we build from there. So don't worry too much about it being not too far off from our skin color, because that's what we want. We don't want to get too dark too quick. This way we can build our colors, and it makes it look a lot better when you do that. So we're taking our not raspberry, it's berry cobbler, and our flesh tone. And more flesh tone than berry cobbler. You're just adding just a little bit of pink in there. I'll do all these areas down here, and then we'll go up and work on the face. So we're doing each side of the strap. And out here on the outer edge of the shoulder, out here. Okay, let's go up to the face. And of course we're going to put some of this underneath the hairline. A little bit more flesh tone. I'm just mixing a little bit more hair on my brush, and I had it just a touch too pink. So we're going to go around here. If we get it in the hair, don't worry, it's just straight black. We can come back and take care of all that. So up through on the hairline, I want to go all the way. We don't really want it in the eyebrow, but we haven't finished the eyebrow, so if you get it in there, don't worry. Okay, we want to go out here on the ears. We want to separate the ears from the face. And I keep turning my project because pulling towards me is much easier than trying to take the brush away from me, not always being able to see. I want to create her eyelid line, so I'm going to put a little bit here. If you drew your eyelid line on, just try not to get paint on that line, and then you can go and erase it when you're done there. I'll put a little bit below her eye, but we probably won't really see too much of that. I like a lower eyelid, a little bit down here on her chin for a shadow. Let's go around her nose. I probably should go to a smaller brush here. I need to paint her nostrils in too. If at any time you get anything too incredibly dark, then just come back with your flesh color and paint into it and blend it in and kind of take it down a little bit, not keeping it quite so bright. We need a little bit up here above the lip here. I'm not really sure how much of this you're seeing. I'm going to put a little bit of this color in through here to give her a shape of her nose. putting a little bit right above each nostril, coming up above where the ball of her nose would be, and putting a little bit up there. We'll highlight on the end of her nose. So let me see if I can zoom you in, see if you can see all of those areas a little bit better. Of course it's wet. So you can see where I did the eyelids, a little bit in each corner here, around the nose. Did a little bit right through here, a little bit on the chin. Of course I did the neck, and all up to here. I know this color is a little bit harder to see here. I'm mixing a little bit more. I want to bring this down just a little bit here. And just bring a little bit up to the eyebrow, a little bit of that color. Let me put her nostrils in, because that will probably help you a little bit. So I'm actually going to take the flesh color. Ooh, got black in my brush. I'm going to take the flesh color, and I think I was going to add some cranberry, but maybe I do need the black color in here. We'll just start with this really dark kind of muted gray color. Now make her nostrils the same. I have this one drawn in a little bit bigger, so let's make this one a little bit bigger. So that's just a dark gray color. And they don't even look like they're shaped the same. So just so you know, no human face is exactly the same on one side as it is on the other side. So just so you know. Okay? All right. I'm going to wash this color out. I think I want to start adding a little bit more detail onto my eyebrows. And I'm going to get a different brush that paints a little bit better. It's a really old brush that I've used for years and years and years. And I hope it never dies, because it's my favorite round brush. It's hard when you get a brush, you've like trained the brush, and you don't ever want it to give out. So I'm just going to come in here and start adding some little eyebrow stuff going on here. That one over there we may end up having to paint in again, because we still have a little bit of shading to do, so I'll be going through that. And we're not going to see a lot of, oop, I don't want that. Don't want that big old stuff of black coming down there. So like I said, you can just paint these in solid black if you would like, because you're not really going to see the brush strokes in the end. This is just a habit I like to paint in. So she's got a couple of bushy eyebrows there. Okay. I'm going to put a second coat on her lips. And let me get some more berry cobbler out. Berry cobbler and our flesh color. Whatever color you use for flesh. If you've mixed a color, be sure and mix plenty so that you can use it throughout your painting. You know, if you've got a touch-up skin or anything like that, you want to have that skin color easily accessible. So I'm just putting a quick second coat on here. I really think she's probably a pretty fast project. You don't really have to, there's not a lot of detail that you have to do on here. I'm just going to darken up her nostrils a little bit. That was just with straight black. Okay, let's add a second shading on her skin, and then I'm going to touch up her hair up here. So I'm going to go back to my flesh tone and back into my berry cobbler. This is berry cobbler. What is that? Berry cobbler. That's royal fuchsia. That's what I was using. Royal fuchsia. That was the color I was using. Alright, so this time we will do berry cobbler. The first time I did royal fuchsia, so let's do berry cobbler this time. This will give it a little bit more of a muted... Oh, goodness gracious, why did I get black? Black, black, black. We don't want black. Now, I am painting on a mat board. It is not going to be forgiving like a canvas or something else would, so, or a piece of wood. So, berry cobbler, flesh color, mix, mix, mix. A little bit more of the flesh color in there. I don't want that to be so bright. Okay, now down here we definitely want it to be a little bit darker, so you can add just a tiny bit of that berry cobbler, maybe a little bit of the blue that we used in the background, and that's going to give us a purpley toned flesh color there, so we can get some shadow in there. A little bit more of that blue, I think. Ooh, that's a lot of blue. Maybe not quite that much blue. That's a lot of blue in there. A little bit more flesh tone. And I want to keep it a little bit more narrow under the chin here. And that really looks purple. Purple, purple, purple. Which is perfectly fine, but it is not really the look I was going for. Okay, that looks better. Alright, come out here and do a second little layer here. Our berry cobbler and flesh color. Okay, I want a little bit of darkening up here on the face. A little bit more where the eyelids are. A little bit more around the nose. A little bit on the nose and behind the ball of the nose. I'm just kind of tapping, a little scrubbing it in just a little bit, and then I'm going to come in and highlight. And then scrubbing out with the damp edge of my brush, keeping it soft. We don't want super crazy dark lines on the face when we're shading, so we're going to be adding some cheek color on there in a little bit. So I want to start highlighting on her skin, and for that I'm going to start with the Royal Fuchsia and maybe Warm White. Let's see how those blend out together. That's really bright. Yeah, that's way too bright, so we're not going to do that. We're going to take our flesh color and some Warm White, equal amounts. Just blend them together on your brush. And we'll start adding some highlights in here. We'll highlight out here on her shoulder. Anytime you feel like anything's too bright, too dark, get your flesh color and put some on there and gently blend it all. Flesh color, Warm White. Use your fingers to, I'm going to add a little bit of a highlight kind of down here on her chest, upper chest. Just tap it in there, blend it with your finger. It's not going to be something super noticeable, so don't worry about how bright it is. Not right now. Or, you know, the first of everything. We don't want to get them too crazy. And we still have blush color that we want to put on and things like that. So I'm taking this with my finger and smoothing it out. Clean my finger off, because when I go to smooth out something later, I want to make sure if it's not the same color, I don't want to be transferring paint around my project. Okay, let's go ahead and do just a little bit on her ear. Just a little. If it gets too bright, get some of your just basic flesh color. I'm going to put a little bit up here underneath the eyebrow. I'm just going to tap it, kind of blend it. Come a little bit above the eyelid, not too much. We'll come on the eyelid and put a little bit. Take your finger, blend, blend, blend. I'm going to put some down the center of the nose. Blend it out just a little bit. No hard lines. And a little bit on the ball of the nose. Definitely should be using a smaller paintbrush here. Tap, tap, tap. Okay. I want that highlight that's right there to be pretty smoothed out. Put a little bit more coming down her nose. And keep it straight. That doesn't look very straight. Okay, let's put some more on her chin here. Flush tone. All right. Blend, blend, blend. A little bit out here on her lower cheeks because we're going to be adding some color on her cheeks. And don't worry about getting it in your hair. Just black paint on the hair so we can touch all that up. You definitely want to make sure she has a nice shape to her face. She's looking pretty good for her first highlight. We're definitely going to come in and make it brighter because that was just our first highlight. It was an equal mix of our flesh color and some warm white. I need to fix a place here underneath her neck. Okay, let's work on her lips now while we're letting all of our highlight dry. So with her lips, she's going to have almost a little circle thing in the center. We can drop it down and then bring it back up, drop it down and then bring it back up. That gives her a much more fuller lip. Or, let me get my eraser. If you don't like that dropping down, then you can just keep it more straight coming here. And that gives her a little bit more of a full kind of pouty type lips. I like that. So we're going to start shading on these lips. I think I'll get a smaller brush. And we're going to grab some cranberry wine to shade on her lips with. So just side load whatever brush you're using just on the toe of the brush. Moisture in your brush is a must. And we're going to start creating a little bit of darkness down here on the lower top lip. I'm going to do the same down here. I'm going to put a little bit down here. And then a little bit here and here. Lots of ways that you can paint lips. There's really not going, you know, if you have painted lips before and you have a favorite way, then just go for that. Why do I keep getting black paint in my paintbrushes? Black paint everywhere. Okay, I'm going to take my little round brush and that cranberry wine. lines in the lips. Okay, and with this cranberry wine, I'm going to add a tiny little bit of black to it. And I'm going to paint this area in here. We'll probably add a lot more black to it later, but for now we're just going to paint it in with this cranberry wine with a little bit of, it's got just a small amount of black in it. I really feel like her mouth looks crooked to me. I'm not really sure how to straighten it up. Okay, I'm going back with the cranberry wine. This time I'm using the cranberry wine and black mix. And I'm going to shade again. A bit of moisture on my brush here. A little bit down here. I have to touch up on above that lip there. I got paint on the outside of it. I'm not sure how I did that. Okay, while I have this little brush in my hand, I'm going to mix our highlight color, which was Flesh and Warm White, and go a little bit above the lip. This is really going to fade down in there, so don't think it's going to stay bright like this, because it won't. And if it does, we just come back in with our flesh color and take it down. Okay. Let's add some highlight on here. We're going to take some Royal Fuchsia, which is what we based the lip in. A little tiny bit of Warm White, just to lighten it a little bit. This is really going to look bright on here. I'm just going to tap it through the lip and then smooth it out. This is not going to show up a whole lot. We still have more stuff to put on this, so I need to shade the outer part of the lip here, so let me do that real quick. Out here, this will be a little darker. Okay, I'm going to go back to my little round brush here, and we're going to mix that cranberry wine and a little bit of black. Oh, that's a lot of black. Make this dark, rich red color. And we're going to create some of our lines back in here. Maybe a little bit more black. Touch them down. Some of those got a little bit carried away. Well, let's grab a little bit more black. And of water here. Okay, let's add a bright highlight on here. I'm going to use the raspberry, if I can get it on my brush, and some white. No, it's not raspberry, it's berry cobbler. I used raspberry on it on another, that's just too bright. So, I'll try raspberry, a little bit more raspberry, not quite so much white. And let's put some highlights on her lips, some little ones. That was with warm white. We can come in and add some much brighter ones with some Snow White. So I'll take a little Snow White. I know it seems like the mouth takes a long time to paint in. It does have a lot of steps, I feel like. I'm going to go back over that with my I want it to be really bright right through here. And that's not going on there like I want it to go on there. Ooh, that's a lot of paint. I just really want it bright, shine on there. So now that I've completely covered her lip, can't even see the white now on the bottom lip. Never had so much trouble painting in lips. Okay, I'm going to go back with some pink. I'm just going to make a wash of the berry cobbler or the royal fuchsia. Either one will be just fine. I'm going to go on here everywhere except the highlight on the lips, because I do not want that highlight to be and then I'll touch up my little lines and just a couple little highlights next to those little lines. And then just a little bit of color up here to smooth out the shape of the lip there. And I think that looks so much better. Okay, we'll wide angle out, because up close you just You can't really tell what it looks like. So, and your lips can be any color that you want. I kind of wanted to go with a color that's in the background, plus it's a color that we're using for shading her. So she's looking really good. Let's add her first layer of eyelashes in here. And I'm going to thin down some black paint. We need to come in and add our brightest highlight still on her skin. So we're going to do that here in a second. So the ones that come from the corner of the eye are not very long. So they're going to go that direction. The ones in the center will go straight down, and then we'll go this direction. So I'm just going to start in the center here and start pulling some eyelashes and up on the very tip of the brush. Start making some go that way, and they'll get smaller as they go this way. And we'll come in and add more. This is just getting us kind of placement for her eyelashes. Need a little bit more water in my paint here. And so don't worry about filling in and making them thick and all that. We'll do that on our second layer. So right now we're just kind of getting where the basically the directions that the eyelashes go in. Okay, and they'll probably see these over here are longer than these. But as we build our layers, we can extend those and make them longer. So that's just our first layer of eyelashes. We don't want it to go too fast on here. Okay, so let's add our bright highlight of just white on her skin here. So we want a little bit on her nose here. Tap. A little bit down here, a little bit here. Very small amounts of paint here. Put a little bit more up here. This is just straight white. We want to come down the center of the nose with a little bit. Brighten that. Let's do some on her chin down here. Make sure you keep the shape of her chin real nice. We'll put just a little bit out here. And then we'll add a little bit on her neck right here. Now you're not covering up all the areas that you covered up before. Anytime you shade or highlight, the first one is the biggest, the widest, everything. So the next one after that is smaller. Tap a little bit right to there. Okay, let me just get some more water in my brush here. Just a kiss of some along her eyelid here. Put a little bit more on her lips. She's looking pretty good. Okay, my white highlight faded away right here, so I'm going to put it back on. So white is notorious for fading. So with this highlight, if you feel like you need to go back in and brighten anything, do that, because white just really fades down in there. And I tend to use a little bit more water when I'm painting with white anyway, so it fades down in there pretty good. Okay, I think her highlights on her skin look pretty good. I'm going to leave them right there. I'm going to quickly touch up my black in her hair. Any place where I got flesh color or any other color in the hair, I want to make sure it's all nice and solid color of black. Okay, wide angle out so you can see it. Alright, I think we're just about ready to start adding some highlights into her hair, because we'll do a couple of layers of highlight. And actually, I think before we go there, because I may have to touch up the hair again, I'm going to add some little white or warm white stuff in the background. Little sparkles. And just in case I get into the hair or someplace. So I'm probably going to do quite a few of these little white dots everywhere. And white or warm white, you can use either color, or you can mix them together. Yeah, I'm really loving those white ones. White, warm white. I think I have a mix of the two on my brush, so yeah, I'm going to put one closer to her hair here, so I'm definitely going to have to touch up the hair there. So I'm just going to work my way around this, adding some of these lighter, more fun Super fun. You can put some of the bigger ones in with this color mix as well. Okay, we'll come down this side, so we're finishing out. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to touch up those areas in the black hair. And right here. I want to make sure there's no gap between the hair and the skin there. And her ears don't look the same size. Not that anybody's ears ever are the same size, but I won't even see the bottom of her ear once we put earrings on her. Still not sure what I'm going to do for earrings. I feel like I'm butchering up this ear over here. Trying to get it close to the size of this one. Pretty close. I still need to put some blush on her cheeks. So her cheeks and her hair and her eyelashes is basically what we have to do, what we have left to do. Her dress down here, I'm just going to put a little bit of shadow of our blue color with some white or warm white, either one, or both. Just a little bit of shadow on the straps. Just at the top edge back here. And because I painted them warm white, I should be able to put some straight white on them. And just kind of tickle some of it on there, make them a little bit brighter. You could make these stripes polka dot. You can do anything you want with them. Okay. I think she's looking really good. So her hair's a little poofier over here, but then I've got her scooted over just a little bit. I think she's going to be all right. Once we add those colors into her hair, which we're going to add blue into her hair, so we're going to take our open water and our white, and we're going to start creating some areas that we want to make into her hair. So I'm just going to draw them in with a pencil and give you an idea. So her hair here comes around. Oops, lost my lid. My lid must be, it must be just about out. I'll use my pink one. So her hair comes around this way, and then this is kind of the part that's in the back, and her hair kind of flips under here. So we're going to be creating some lines in here with our blue color, and then up through here, a little bit there, and then we're going to come and create some stuff up there, and then right here it's going to kind of curl, and that'll be a little bit more straight in there. So, you know, these lines will all disappear as we paint our stuff in, but you can kind of see where we're going with the look of her hair. And give her a little bit of playful movement here. And this part comes across here and then curls around over here. So we'll be having hair that goes along that way. We want to make sure that we have our divisions of our hair over here, because this actually comes down and curves around, so I may have to add my black a little bit farther in here, because this comes around. And curls around like that. It needs to come up and meet this part, so there we go. That looks better. And that will go that way. This all comes from here, and then that's wet, so I can't draw through it, so it will come across there. And I need to adjust over here. Okay, that looks better. And over here, this hair is actually behind her face more, so it will be a little bit different than how this is going to lay across her face here. Okay, so I did a little test practice here of what I wanted to do in the hair. We're going to do her cheeks next. We still need to fill in a little bit more on her eyelashes, but we're going to do the other cheek. I'm going to show you how I did it on this side. So I'm going to take a dry paper towel. I've got a dry brush. I'm going to load my brush with the color I want to use, which I'm using Berry Cobbler. And then I'm going to offload onto my paper towel pretty much all the paint out of my brush. Get it all out, at least where you think it's all out. And then you're going to come where you want to lay in the paint and just tickle that across your surface. You still don't know how much paint is going to come off, so you absolutely do not want to give hard pressure here. Keep it a soft pressure. Soft is the key word, barely tickling across. If your brush is not releasing any paint, just go reload it again and offload all the paint. It probably just means the first time the paint's not in the brush good, so it's not letting it come out. So you sometimes have to load it a second time and offload all of your paint and get it a nice color, or a nice where it will come out of your brush a little bit. So that's going to give her these rosy little cheeks. Now if you get, let me lay out some of my flesh color here. If you get your cheeks too dark, I'm going to show you how to fix that. I'm going to put out some of my flesh color. I'm going to go and try and rub any more of this paint out that is still in my brush. See, I'm still rubbing a lot of paint out of this brush. Okay, and I'm going to load with my flesh color and offload that color. And then if you get your cheeks too dark or they're bigger than you want, you come in here with your flesh color and you can take the cheeks down, not only in the value that they are, the color, but you can start making it go smaller. Load, offload. So you're just bringing your flesh color back in. Or if you want to smooth out your cheeks a little bit more, you think they're too dry brushy looking, then you can also do this technique by just gently going over that dry brush area and smoothing it out to where it blends in more with the actual skin. So let me see if I can zoom in here. So this one looks much smoother than this one. You see how draggy and dry that one looks? So I'm going to take some of my flesh color and very gently go over this and smooth it out a little bit, give it a little bit smoother look, and just give her those rosy glow of cheeks there. And I do feel like this side the paint comes up a little bit too high right here. So I want a little bit more of my flesh color back in here. Take that down a little bit. Keep it soft, don't let it leave a hard line or anything. And that looks a little bit better. A little bit more here. And this is how you just gently blend out and make it all look more natural. It's super easy to do. Don't ever stress out about this, because your flesh color, you can come in and really take that back and do it, soften it down and make it look just absolutely gorgeous. Alright, let's do a little bit of dry brushing on her hair. I've already started here on a little spot, and let me grab a different brush here. I'm going to use a filbert brush for this. Okay, so I'm going to do a similar type technique, except my brush now is wet. My other brush was completely dry for dry rubbing on the cheeks. So now I'm going to dry brush on the hair, and I'm going to load my blue color, which is open water. And I'm going to offload onto my dry paper towel. Load it again, because sometimes when you offload the first time it really takes a lot of the paint out. So this is just a dry brushing. You can lay the brush flat or be up on the chisel edge. I'm going to kind of be on the chisel edge here just a little bit because I just want to pull some streaky stuff where this main area is right here. I want to make sure I have some color going there. And then we have this piece of hair that's falling down here, a little bit less paint, so I wiped it off. I was leaving kind of a bold line there. And I want this to be not so narrow, so I'm going to lay my brush flat and flatten that out a little bit. Maybe flatten it a little bit here. And then come down this outer edge. And any of these lines that I've drawn in here, I can come back when I'm done and erase, because I drew them in with a ceramic lead pencil, and so that will remove very easily with water or paint. So what I don't remove with the paint as I'm doing this, I can remove with some water. Okay, so we're just going to do this, and then I'm going to, let's put a little bit on each side of the part there, kind of get that going. And a little bit back here. And if you feel like you get too much, you come in with your black paint, same technique, and cover up. And I think I'll go with a flat brush here. I want a little bit more stuff laid in. I'm loading and offloading every single time. I'm using the tip of the bristles, and I'm not letting, I'm not giving pressure. I'm just lightly skimming across the surface here. Just letting the brush kind of do its thing. The canvas that I'm working on is grabbing the brush and the paint and is releasing, it's pulling the paint off of the brush. Okay, I'm going to go back up here a little bit flat. Load and offload. I'm going to come this way because I want to pull some from this edge. And then just go in and create some. And again, if you feel like you've gotten too much, bring your black back in. Super, super easy. You can put as many layers on here to brighten. You can add a little bit of white to it, which I think I may add a little bit of white to my next layer. So I'm going to wash my brush out. I want to go in and remove all of my lines on here. My pencil lines that I can, and those that I can't, which I should be able to remove them if they don't have paint on them. Even the ones with paint, see that one had paint on it in the center there, and I was able to erase that very easily. So just come in and erase your lines. Remember, do not brush into your paint when you put these over into your paint. Away from your paint, and I want to do a little bit more right there on that one there. I might have to come in with some of my black. I think I'm going to have to come in with a little bit of black on this one. So let me put some black out, because we'll need it for her eyelashes here in a minute anyway. And I'm going to put a little bit of black back in here. And this black is going to create your more shadowy areas, so you know, if you feel like you need some back in there, Just put it in. And I am going to mix a little bit of white with my blue and create just a few highlight ones in there. So I'm going to take my blue and my white, mix them together. I've got an equal amount here. And there are places that I just want to add a little bit of brightness, make a few places stand out a little bit more. Just an equal mix of white and our blue, or whatever color. If you're putting pink or green in the hair, we don't have green in the project anywhere, so I wouldn't really recommend doing green, but if you're doing one of the pinks in the hair, then and you can come back with an even brighter highlight of white, or come back in with your black and create less blue in the hair. I'm going to go over and do the eyelashes. I want to touch up on her eyebrow here real quick. I feel like this needs to come down just a little bit farther. Kind of match that eyebrow. And so we're just going to add another layer onto our eyelashes. Tippy toe of the brush. Oh, I've got way too much paint here. Delicate, delicate, delicate. These need to be just a little bit longer out here. And I got it really thick right there, and I'm going to show you how to fix that. So I like to start in the middle and then work my way out one way or the other. And go back over this line, kind of settle everything in there. You can also use an Identi-Pen to do the eyelashes if you would like to. So right there, I feel like it got a little thick, and maybe right there too. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. I'm going to take my detail liner here and our flesh color, and I'm going to thin some of that down. And I'm going to go in here with this color and break up these eyelashes a little bit. And then I can come back in and add some black back on top. I feel like right here it's a little thick as well. Okay, I'm going to stay with this detail liner. That looks much better now. Okay, that's giving her some really long, kind of thick eyelashes, and I think I'm really want to shade on her eyelashes because I feel like there is just too much of a skin coming through. I want to make sure they're dry, and then just right next to the lid there, we're just going to float just the tiniest little bit of black right here, and that's going to make them look a little bit more connected. I have a little place above her eye that I need to touch up with some skin. Looks like I tried to touch it up, but it didn't cover it. Okay, I'm going to wide angle out because I'm undecided if I want to add any more light color to her hair or not. Some white or warm white maybe. Find my brush I used here. This is just straight white. I'm not sure. Oop, I got some black in my brush still. Clean that out. I think a little bit of just straight white is going to help this. Of course, it's going to fade down in there, so don't worry too much about not really liking that right there. So you can come back and forth with your colors, and I don't want it to be so solid. A little more subtle in there. Okay, now I'll come back with the white on there. A little bit more on the outer edge out here. Okay. Now at this point you want to look and see if you need any more circles. I really feel like I need a circle out here of some color. So I'm going to put a pink one in here. Maybe a part of a flesh color one. That looks better. And then I need a little one here. See if I can get some white in this brush without making it look pink. Okay, so I think she looks pretty good. Now this is where you can make a decision. If you want her to pop more forward, then you can float all the way around her, I would say, with your blue with a little bit of black mix would bring her more forward, or you can leave her just like this. You can do some color around the edges, float some color around the edges, which is what I do a lot when I'm not going to frame something. I'll just take a little wash of color and just kind of work it around the edges. But for me, I think, oh, we have to add her earrings on. I completely forgot about her earrings. I think we'll do a drop down earring with a circle. Drop down with a circle. And try to make the circles the same size. And let's see, what color earrings do we want to give her? I almost forgot about that. I'm going to make a gray color, a light gray color to represent silver, I think. And we'll do this part silver. And the color I think we'll put in her earrings is pink color, and I'm going to add some white to it, and we'll make it a lighter pink. This is berry cobbler and white, and it almost looks the color of royal fuchsia, so if you have that color you could, it's not quite as bright as royal fuchsia, but you could definitely use royal fuchsia in place of this one. Okay, I think they're the same color. Do a second coat on them. And while those are drying, I'm going to take a teeny tiny little bit of black, just a tiny little bit, and put some right here. Give it a little bit of a shadow where it's connected. Put a little bit of a highlight on that with some white. Okay, I want to erase the lines. They're not quite dry. Let me dry them. I'm just going to erase the lines that I drew. We can see if they look connected and the same size. And then we're going to, there we go. We're going to get some Napa Red. I think I've been calling this cranberry wine the whole time. I really thought I had cranberry wine out here, but this is Napa Red. Cranberry wine will work just fine. Goodness, that did not want to come out. I didn't need near that much paint because I just need a little drop. We're going to shade these earrings. And we'll shade on the bottom with the Napa or cranberry wine, whichever one you're using. And I definitely want to repeat that. make these earrings any color that we've used within this palette, so. Okay, and I think we'll do a little highlight of white on here. Okay, I think I might call her done. And again, you can mix up the colors, change the colors out completely. You know, like all the pinks and blues, you could do greens and purples, and you can have so much fun with this one. And I think she turned out super duper cute, and I love the background, the bokeh effect in the background. I love that. So give it a try, see if you like it, and just have fun with it. Thanks so much for painting with me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe, comment, share. I appreciate you all. We'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye-bye.